Alright guys, so in the last video we were successfully able to log in the user, register the user as well as get the user profile with the user token. So now in this video we are going to start working on a front end, and currently my MongoDB server is also running as well as Mongo client shell is also running, and currently we have one user in our database. And to create with the backend front end, we are going to use vue.js with vuex. So let's go and quickly create that thing. So first of all, we are going to create view. Currently I'm in my server directory which we created, root directory. So I'm going to create a file that is called I'm going to create vue project over here. So for that, and before that, make sure you have vue installed. That is npm g npm i-g @vue cli, but I currently have installed. If I say vue --version, and here you'll find what I have currently installed, version 3.5 in my system. So to create a vue project, we'll simply say vue create, and we'll call it client, and this will take a wizard of questions. So I'm gonna click on manually select the features. I'll be using router, so to choose anything we have to simply press the space bar. I also want to use vuex, and that's fine, and everything is fine, nothing linter formatter, yeah, fine. And for history mode, yeah, definitely, why not. With the error prevention mode, linting on save, and in packet.json. And if you want to save this thing for later, you can save it, but not now. And this will install a couple of dependencies for our view project. So I'm quickly gonna pause this video and I'll be back after once it is done. So my vue.js has currently done with creating the project, and now if I ls in the current directory, we'll see a folder named client, and I have already opened it VS Code, and here is a client directory. So with the basic stuff, it has in our source folder we have app.vue, which is a main app component which will be rendered out. Then we have a store file which contains our vuex states, and then we have some views. And to run this, in the previous video I have already installed something called concurrently. So now we are gonna use this concurrently over here in order to run client side as well as front end, a backend as well as front end with the same script. So firstly, I'm gonna get rid of this test script, and I'll simply say client install, and this will install npm install, and this prefix client. So this command is gonna install all the dependencies for the client. If you are in the GitHub repository, we have uploaded this thing. Then we are going to use start, and this time for a start script I'm gonna use node app.js, because this will be helping us in running our application when we'll deploy it on Heroku or something else. Then we have server, that is node mon app.js, which will run our app. Then client, we are simply specifying all the stuff, and for this npm run ser dash prefix client. So this command will go in our client directory, and make sure this packet.json is in the root directory, not in the client. Okay, so next command, which will be like run dev script, and this will be npm run ser, not run ser, this will be con this will be the same thing, this concurrently. Not good with the spellings. Concurrently with a forward slash, and after that npm run server, and with a forward slash, then ending slash, then again a forward slash with a space, npm run client, and that would do it. So now with this command, we are if we write something called npm run dev, and there's nothing, that is, yeah, double quotes, actually it should be double quotes over there. Yeah, so now we'll see our app is started, and started building also a client view, which is our front end. So currently now we are gonna see this URL over here. So currently my app is running, view app is running, and I'm quickly gonna clear this terminal. And if I open a new window over here, that is localhost 8 port 80, and right here we have our view application running. So next thing is, I'm gonna quickly close this directory and gonna go for the quick cleanup. So currently I don't want any kind of styling, so I'm gonna get rid of this thing. And I also don't want this router links, so I'm quickly gonna go get bootstrap.com and quickly gonna copy these links in order to provide some styling to my application. That's fine, yeah. I don't know why it's showing some error. We'll see it later. I'm gonna go to this public index.html file, and I'm gonna paste this script style tag, and then I'm gonna bring in jQuery and popper.js, which is bootstrap dependency. Paste it over here and save it. And now if I reload this page, we'll see everything bootstrapped away. So this is my view app, and our components directory, I'm gonna get rid of this hello world component. Let me see whether anywhere it is used or not, and here it is used. So I'm gonna get rid of mostly everything. That's quick cleanup, and I'm gonna save. Nothing in there, everything is fine. And this is about page, whatever I feel like, and you can delete this, move to trash. I don't want that. So first component which I'm gonna build is navbar.view, and that navbar.view will be nothing but the navigation bar, and you can go to this documentation and then navbar. Just to save time, copy this out, and you can write template, or not template, scaffold. If you have the extension installed properly, you can write this command scaffold and everything should work fine. And yeah, that's all. So this is our navigation bar. Then I'm gonna go to this app.view, and to bring a navigation bar in this application, we need to bring in that nav bar. So import nav bar from and components nav bar. and since it is a view file, so we don't have to mention extension. And now we have to register that component in components object. So we have navbar, and just to comment this out for a while, yeah, to use that navbar we can simply write this. And now if I save, go to my client, we have our navbar over here. So currently nothing is working. Now we are gonna fix everything from piece by piece. So in my navbar, I don't want it to be light, I want it to be dark. And now if I save, we have a dark navigation bar over here. And now instead of this A tag, I want something called router link. So I'm quickly gonna copy this part and go to navbar, paste it over here, and give it a class Maven auth. Now if I save, everything is over here. If I click, everything works well. Okay, so now I just don't want this form element hanging over here. Now this button is gone. Now I want all the links to go that side. So for that we are simply gonna change this MR auto to ML auto. And now if I save, we have all the links on the left hand side. So now I don't want this drop down menu, so I will get rid of this thing, even the disabled one. I don't want anything. So now for this home button, I just want to give the same thing. Oh, not. I want this router link. If you don't need these stuff, you can go to other channels also. You're free to go with other channels also, where you can see all the basic stuffs. This is not for the beginners video. So, and now if I save, and here I have my home, and this home button is quite up weird and looking quite awkward because we haven't provided it a class nav link. Now home button looks perfect. Then I want to create another route that will go to about. So I'm gonna quickly copy this out, paste it, and get rid of this span tag. About, and this will go to about page. Now if I save, we have about. If I click about, this is an about page, this is a home page. So next thing is I just want a couple of other links too. So I'm gonna quickly, you can do the same way. In Mac we can simply say Alt Shift and down button, and I don't know about Windows. So first one is login, then register, and profile. And I think that's fine for now. No, one more. That will be logout button. So first one is login, register, profile, log out. And this won't be a router link. This will be a tag. Yeah, that's fine. Log out, profile, register, login, and if I save, we have all the links over here. But currently these links won't work because we haven't created the routes for these links. So in order to do that, we need to go to this file, this router here, JS file, and this is loading, lazy loading, so we don't need that. We need not to worry about anything, and I want all other components to be loaded very lazily. So one for login, register, profile, and that's, I guess that's all for now. Command D, login, and the component which we want to load is login. Then this one is register, and then one is profile, profile.view. And now if I save, we have this error, and that is because we haven't created these three components. So in my views folder, I'm gonna create these components, and first component is login.view, second component is register.view, third component is profile.view. So we have all components ready over here. So you can write scaffold and everything will be there with a div, and h1 dot text, say h2, first one is login. If I save, everything should fine. Scaffold div h2 and if you don't know about this thing, that is simply your emit. And if I save, everything is fine. Scaffold div h2 profile. I'm going literally fast, I know. About page, login page, and login is not working. Let me quickly see why it isn't working. So for that, I have to go to this inspect page and fail to mount a render function login.view. Okay, so in my router, login.view is there. Register is not defined. Okay, let me clear this out and run it again. I think there's some issue with the service, and that's all. Oh yeah, everything is working now. And that was button, so don't worry about that. So all pages are baked together piece by piece. So router is started working now. So here we have compile this thing, and here, and one more thing. I wanna say const router equal to this and export default router, and everything should just work fine. I'll tell you why later. So if I have this navbar, every file is working well. So let me quickly get take an overview of this thing. We have created all three routes. One will be protected later on. One is login, profile, register, and app.view. We have brought in the nav bar, and this router outlet will go in with a container class. So now if I save, everything is kind of stretched in the middle now in every page. So whatever is behind here is in the container now, and that's basically it for now. So next thing is, now we are gonna create a form in this login file. So now to create a file to form, we are going to use the bootstrap classes. So for now, that is, let's say I'll give a row, then with a card of max, mx auto, which will center the card, then card header with a card text, white with BG, primary, and this is the text. And if I write login, now if I save, on my login page we'll see something like this, and that looks really ugly. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give this card width of 60% of the screen, and that looks far better. So now under this we'll be having a form, and before this we need a card with a class of body, and where we are going to have a form, and for now we are on this action dot form. We want to div with a class of form group over here, and then in there we want something label, and that label will be for username. Input with a class of form control, text, placeholder, username, name will be username, and we model username. So with that, I think everything is there. And one more thing, that is ID, and that will be again username. So everything is written over here now. Radius 0 because I don't like borders, and median, and this time form control. Everything is fine now. If I see, we should see this most nice looking form over here. So everything is fine with that. And later on, one more thing, I do want to again form group, and that form group, and don't worry about that error. That is basically saying that we have that username. Password, and we have everything over here. And now if I reload, that error is no more over here. So now we want something called label for password. Since it is a mask text, placeholder, password, name equal to password, ID equal to password, and we model also equal to password. Now if I save, and here it is, everything in there. Now if I save, we have a nice looking password over here. Then the next one is I want to create a button with a class of btn primary, and which will say login, and I'm gonna give 4 times nbsp. Come on C, come on V, come on V 4 times. Then I want to give a or router link, which will take 2, register class B card link, which will go to need an account. Now if I save, we look this perfect. Everything looks fine. So what I'm going to do, quickly gonna copy this form and go to register. Not this form, whole row. I'm gonna copy this and go to register. Instead of this login, we have register. We have username. I'm gonna duplicate that thing. Next one is our command D. Name field, name, and model is fine. Placeholder should be name. Now if I save and go to register, we have name field over here. And don't worry about this error just now. I will fix it in a moment. And later on we want to have one email field, and that email, so we have username, name, email, and we need one more confirm password field. Confirm password. Now if I save, and this is not confirm password field, this will be only password. And now say if I save, everything looks perfect. And instead of this login, this will be register. already have an account. And this should go to login. And now if I save, everything looks perfect. So now what I'm gonna do, gonna create the data attribute of this component or view, specifically saying we have username, which is equal to empty string, password equal to empty string, confirm password, which is again equal to empty string, name field which is empty, email field which is again empty. So we have all 5 fields over here and with 5 divs, and make sure no errors are there. So everything looks perfect. So now once that is done, we are now going to implement something called Vuex. So to implement the Vuex, we need something called modules. And if I go to this store.js file, which is already included in our application with the store, because we are bringing that store from here. So now I'm gonna create a folder area, and that is called warehouse. And in this warehouse, it will contain all the modules in there, whatever the modules we want to use in here. So let's say we want to use authentication module. So I have created this authentication module over here, and now I'm gonna go into this authentication module and do something. So first one is import Axios from Axios, since we are going to use the Axios very well. So we will be using Axios, so we have brought in the Axios, and later on we need to define some other constants. So first one will be const state equal to this, and it serves as a warehouse for us to work with, and we need to bring in something called router also. So import router from OneUp, and we have over here router. So first one is state, then we need const getters, just similar to this store which we have created, which we got a default over here. Then we need something called const actions, which has these values in there. Then const mutations, so here we have whatever we need for our warehouse. Like this will do all the actions, like all the actions whatever we want to do with the data, and this will change the state of this warehouse. So at last we need to export all these. So export default, and which will be state actions, not this, mutations, and we need to also export getters. So once everything is exported from here, now in order to use that thing in our main store, we need to bring in that thing. So to use that thing in our, we'll simply write import auth from a warehouse slash auth, and instead of this state variable, we'll simply say something called modules, and in this we need to register that module. So if we say Control S, and everything should work fine, with no errors in there. And can't resolve Axios, yeah, just because we haven't installed Axios so far. So make sure you are in, if I ls currently I'm in my root directory, make sure you need to go into the client folder. So cd client client and npm install Axios. I'm quickly gonna pause this video, and once it is installed, so Axios is installed, and now now this app is working very well, fine, with no issues. And I don't know why, yeah. So for the login, everything looks perfect, but not this one, and that is just because I thought the same piece of code will work for this, but this is not working. So I need to fix it just by going to this login script, and gonna quickly copy this out and gonna paste in this style tag of this template and save it, and everything just looks now for like, yeah. So once that is done, now we need to go to this Auth.js, and before doing anything we need to go to this main.js file. So now if I just go to this main app.js file, we need to do some stuff. So first step is import Axios from Axios, and now we need to do some stuff like const token, load the token from the local storage, and this is doing in order to make our Axios call. So we are just setting its default authorization headers to this token. So if in case any token is present, we'll load that token on the initialization of the app. So we can simply write const token equal to local storage.getItem, and I'm gonna store that token with the name of token. And before that, view.prototype $HTTP, and we are setting Axios as a default prototype for the view. And now if there is any token, then we will simply default Axios authorization headers. So if token is there, we'll simply view.prototype $HTTP defaults, and I think prototype, yeah, everything is fine, yeah, default headers common authorization equal to token, and everything should work fine, and yes, it is. So we are just loading the token from the back from the local storage with this token value, and we are just, if there's any token, we are just setting the token to this HTTP default header or to the Axios object, which will be sending back and forth. API calls. And that's basically it about this. Now we don't need to touch this again. So now if I close, so now the states. State is a vast topic and we need to think as is like we are doing some state work. So first state is like for the authentication, firstly we need a token, and that token we will get from local storage dot get item again from there, and that will be token. Or if in case it will be empty if it is not found. So this is our basic state. If the user is logged in, that means the token will be available in the local storage and that will be fetched, and if not found then the token will be set to empty strings. Then we have user which will store our user data, and status which is empty string again. So this is a basic initial state of the application where the users are this. Now here we want the getters, so is logged in, and this is a state. This will take a state parameter, and if state dot token, this is basically a shorthand thing to write, and otherwise you will say is logged in equal to function something like this, and which will take in the state. If state is state dot token not equal to empty string, return true, else return false, something like this. This is same thing, but I'm gonna comment this thing out and instead I'll be using shorthand thing. Then auth state will be state again, and this will be state dot status. Then next one will be user, and this will again take state and send back state dot user. And this state is nothing but this whole state. So whatever the things we have in there, we are just sending back. So now let's quickly check how we can use that, and that we can check in our navbar component. So to check that in the navbar component, firstly we need to bring in something called import map getters from Vuex, because we have installed that Vuex, and there's a called computed. Map getters, and in order to access that property, now we want to bring in this is logged in or not. So how we will bring it over there? Now if we go to our application, currently we can see logout, also we can see profile, also we can see register, but we want to log this profile and logout for the unauthenticated users, and we want to hide these two routes for this authenticated users. So how we are gonna do that? So if we want to access this property, we will simply copy this stuff from here and paste it in the array, and now that is logged in property can be used as a computed property for this component. So let's see in the action. This about and home component are fine, but I don't want to view this thing, so we can simply use if directive is logged in is not true, and in this case that is correct. That is not true. And this will be only for the logged in status. So once that thing is true, we won't be able to see this state. Now if I save and if I reload, we no longer see this profile page or the login page, profile or logout button over here. So this is the way how we can use the states. Alright, everything is fine. Okay, so now if I close and go back to my auth actions. So firstly, what I'm gonna go to with my login, and we don't need to work with this main store.js file again for this application. And since we have this form created over here, and on the click on the submit of this form, I want to do something. So let's say firstly we need to prevent default. So for that we can simply write at click, and we want to prevent the default action login user. We want to call this method, and we are gonna use method and here login user. And now for now if I say console.log this dot username, this dot password, and if I save Mandy1 2 3 something, and we can see all the state over here. For reload again, and we can see all the thing from here. So what I'm gonna do over here, we want to create we can call our API over here and send the request, and you can store. But think about this way, like doing for every component like this, and in this way our data is limited to only a component, and which is very difficult to share. So to handle that thing, Vuex comes in action. So firstly I'm gonna create, and then I'm gonna explain you how it's gonna work. So login action, so async login, and this will take commit. I'll tell you what is commit in a moment. Then user, and if I save, everything works fine. Commit auth request, then let response is equal to await, because now we are gonna call an API and we have to wait for the response from the server. So we will be using in that case await, and that's why this function is called. And now we are gonna post that data from there. For now, local post HTTP 5000 users slash not users, API slash users slash login, I guess, yeah. And if press the data dot success, since we are sending success from our backend over here, once the user is logged in, success becomes true. Now we are gonna use that success over here. So for the success.data, we want to save that token equal to res.data.token const user equal to res.data.user, since we are sending the user also from there. If I go to my API, oh, I'm not sending the user, so user, okay, fine, makes sense. We are sending the user also from there, and that user is nothing but this user which we got over here. So I'm gonna get that token, set the token, store the token into the local storage. And how we gonna do that? Local storage dot set item with a token key. I'm gonna save that token. Once now set the Axios defaults and Axios dot defaults dot headers dot common authorization equals to token. Now we're gonna commit auth success with the token and the user. And once everything is done, we're gonna return the response back to the component. So now how we are gonna use this function in our login component? So that is the question. So let user data, since in our auth component it is accepting this user, and this commit is nothing but the mutations whatever we will be handling over here. So this commit is this mutation. So let username is equal to this dot username password, this dot password. And once everything is done, firstly we want to bring in that method. So for that, import map actions, since it is an action from view X. We have brought in that action, and now we want to add that action to the methods of the components. So map actions, and this is login, and rest of the actions will go beyond this. Now what we are gonna do, that is a question. How we can send that thing? Since this login has been brought in from the auth actions, now we can use that login method as direct this dot login, and we can pass in the user data which we have sent in over here. Then whatever the response we were sending back, we can use it over here too. If res.data.success equal to true, this dot router dot push, and we're gonna bring it to profile page. And in case of any error, we're gonna simply console that log error. So let's quickly see this in action. So now, and one more thing, yeah, mutation type auth request is not available. Okay, so I forgot to add the mutation, whatever we were telling about these mutations. So auth request, first mutation, and that auth request will take the state and state.status, since it is mutating the state loading, it will set it to the loading state. Then auth success is also there, and in case of auth success we are passing a data over here. So first argument will be the state, and then second argument will be the token, which is over here, and the third argument is the user. And now there's the state dot token equal to token state, that is state dot, oh sorry, what I'm doing, state dot user equal to this user object which we have sent over here. And forgive me, this won't be the commas, this is simple function, state dot status equal to success. So now if I save, everything should work fine. So let's quickly see this in action. So I have created this thing and my username was 12345678990. If I log in failed with the request, and here username is not found. Everything is working well, so let me quickly see my username, and it is Mandy. Now if I log in, we still not able to log in. And now if I log in network, oh my god, that is really a bad reputation which I've built. Oh my god. And that is just because type submit prevent, okay. Why it is again logging it? Yeah, the thing is, instead of this click, it will be submit event. So now if I save, everything should work fine. And same in the register component, not yet. I put it with a click event, and that shouldn't be the case. So now if I put Mandy 123 and login, and the username is not found. And if I put 1 over here, login again, and the username is again not found. So the username is Mandy. Come on, we understand that there's something wrong with the API, I guess. So if I go to this username is not found. Okay, that's why I was thinking the username is not found. Why? So that's basically because vmodel is somewhat not bound properly. Username, that's not username. I passed this user object, password, and this is password vmodel. Yeah, everything is fine. ID name placeholder, console log user. Oh my god. Instead of this login, I need to pass in the user object. Oh my goodness. Now if I log in 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0, the login username is not found. That's fine. If I put 1, and we are pushed back to the profile page, and we are getting a response with a token, and everything is working fine. And we can also see our profile as well as logout buttons. So that's basically it, and in the next video we'll start with the registration and route protection. Thank you guys.